Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel, welcome back to Garage Reviews. It has been a while, but today we are back with a 2024 Mini Cooper S. This is the 3-door variant, and in this video I'm going to be giving you a very detailed review of this car, taking it out for a spin, giving you the in-depth analysis for this car, all the features, the hidden little small intricate details that Mini has. So this is going to be that in-depth review that you follow Garage Reviews for. So without any further ado, let's get started. But before we begin, a very special thanks to Krishna Automobiles, the authorized Mini dealership here in the Chandigarh area. They provided me with this car for this review, and if you have any queries regarding any BMW, any Mini or a BMW motorized bike, they are the people who will help you out. I've given their contact details in the description down below, so help me out by following their page as well. Now let's dig right in. By the looks of this car, you can very well tell it's a Mini because this is the signature design of any Mini car. It's absolutely beautiful, and anyone who sees it on the road will definitely turn their heads to see which car this is. The signature oval headlamps that you get in this car are absolutely stunning. And especially this color that the Mini has been finished in, it is a head turner. Beautiful car, but let's dig into the intricate details that you and I love. Alright, so starting off with the headlamps, we get the signature oval DRL design, and that also turns into the turn indicators for this car if you're wondering. We get piano black finishes all around the car, if you see, even around the grille if you have over here, around the headlamps. The grille in fact itself is piano black, which is different from last year around, because last year a lot of chrome finishes were given. For example, this entire area was chrome, the grille surrounds were all chrome. Now that does come down to personal preference. I personally like this design a little better. It gives a much more minimalistic design, and that is the overall design factor of the new Mini series. I'll take you around through the car where I'll show you where they've changed the chrome factor to a much more minimalistic factor now. Moving around to the grill design is a little bit different this time around. You can see you have these slats over here, you have the radar system over here in this car as well, because this does give level 1 ADAS now, so it has features such as lane keep assist and other things that are going to help you while driving. Now speaking of driving, let's talk about the heart of this car, which is this beautiful 2-liter turbo petrol engine in this small car, which means immense power. Now if we talk about the power figures, actually it's 189 horsepower with 280 Newton meters of torque. Now that may not seem like very large numbers, but when it comes to a car which is this small and in this form factor, it makes it a go-kart for the road. And when we come on to the driving experience of this car, I'll actually explain how fun this car actually is to drive, because honestly speaking, in a long while that I've been driving cars, this is one of the best handling cars that I've driven in a while. Now that all paired with 146 mm of ground clearance also means that this is a quite adventurous car. Again, not exactly the highest car out there, but it strikes the perfect balance between a car that is low enough to have good handling but high enough to be driven on Indian roads without an issue. Now since we have the engine bay open, a small little detail about the Mini Cooper cars that I really like is the cutout that they have for the headlamps in the bonnet of the car. Now this design language for Mini Coopers is not exactly just because of Mini, it's because of the government norms as well. According to government norms, you cannot have a lighting element of the car which is on a moving part. So since the bonnet is a moving part of the car, they cannot actually stitch the headlamps on to the bonnet of the car, and which is why the headlamps stay static and they have to make a cutout for the headlamps. Now that is a very small little design cue in all Mini cars that I absolutely love. Now coming on to the side profile, I really love what they've done to the side, and I'll explain that step by step. The first thing that I absolutely love is the color combinations that are going on. Now we have this turquoise color over here, which by the way looks really nice, but then this entire window pane over here, if you see, is like in this piano black and then this kind of blackish mirror kind of vibe, and then we have the white roof of this car. So we have like a triple tone color going on, which I personally really like. It gives this car that standing out factor, which I love to have in cars. The second thing that I absolutely love is the alloy wheel situation that is going on over here. We have 17-inch alloy wheels in this car with a kind of a low profile tire attached to it, which again helps in the driving performance of the car, helps in the handling of the car, but then the alloy wheel design, which is a diamond cut design, really enhances the looks for the car as well. However, the one thing that I do feel could have been improved is the plastic cladding over here. I get that Mini is supposed to be an adventurous car, but then the price point that this car is coming in at, I feel that they could have used a slightly better material over here. But again, that's just nitpicking at this point. It's not really something that would change my decision to buy a car or not. Now, the rear profile of this car has kind of a controversial appeal to it. Some people love it, some people kind of sort of hate just one element of it. And without a surprise, that one element definitely has to be the tail lamps of this car. Now, if you remember the third generation Mini Cooper, this is the fourth generation, and in the third generation Mini Cooper, the tail lights were absolutely beautiful. Since Mini is a brand that is inspired by the British, they had a beautiful Union Jack in the tail lamps of the car. Yet this time around, even though it's somehow visible because they have these 3 arrows going here and there, but I still feel that they've taken off the essence of that beautiful tail lamp design that they had earlier. So that's the only grudge that I feel that people have along with it. But other than that, this rear profile of this car is pretty sporty. You have these sleek looking tail lamps, you have the Mini Cooper S badging over here, you have the Mini badge over here along with the bronze treatment. The bumper of this car also has like kind of these boxy designs going on, which gives this car a much more adventurous look. So in terms of design, Mini has always been sort of a king, and people have generally never said anything to Mini design except for the Countryman. And I feel that even in the fourth generation, the Mini Cooper S follows that era of beautiful designs. Now, when it comes to the interior of the Mini Cooper S, I would say that this is kind of the definition of minimalistic design, because compared to any of the previous mini cars, this is the simplest dashboard that I've ever seen in any mini car. Even in the third generation, you used to have at least a tachometer, a speedometer here in front of the driver. This time around is just a heads-up display, and every single other information is given in this display over here. Even the climate controls or all of the things like those airplane switches that you used to get in Mini third generation, which I particularly absolutely loved, are now missing since everything is integrated in this display. Now, some people love that, some people hate that. I kind of have mixed feelings about it, because yes, the minimalistic design does look futuristic, it looks great, especially considering the fact that the display that Mini has given this time around is in conjunction with Samsung. The software is made by Samsung, so it's very easy to use, it's beautiful to look at, it's very high resolution. It definitely has that futuristic design to it, but then while you're driving the car, it makes it a little difficult to control whatever is going on with the car. Now, taking a closer look at the setup over here, I'll take you through everything that we have. Except for the climate controls being over here, we now get everything related to the driving and the engine over here. For example, starting the engine or turning off the engine is now in the form of a key that you have to rotate. The gear selector is also given over here, except for a lever. This time around you have an electronic one over here. The driving modes are also given in the form of that same aeroplane switch that I really like, has been given over here. And something that I really appreciate is that the volume knob is still given in a physical button and not integrated into a display, because this is the one thing that you really change a lot while driving, and giving that in a display just makes everything a huge hassle. Talking about the display, as I said, this time around it has been made in conjunction with Samsung, so the software is absolutely amazing. It's very easy to use. The graphics are amazing. The display is of amazing quality. The resolution is amazing, and it's essentially like using an Android phone. So if you like the way you're using your phone, I'm sure of the fact that you will like the way that this display is also used. Speaking of practicality in the 3-door, it's not exactly what you think of it, because opening the boot in this car, you can actually see that it's not the biggest one out there, but it's still pretty good. I mean, we have all of our camera gear. I have a bag that has my camera. I have a bag for my gimbal. I have a laptop bag. I have a bag for my drone. I have a bag for my lights. I have tripod. I have a lot of stuff kept in the boot of this car, and yet I still feel that I can actually grab onto a few more things and put it back here. So according to a weekend car, it's not actually that unpractical. And speaking of storage inside the car, let's start with the doors. You have a magazine holder over here. You have a 1-liter bottle holder over here. The glove box of this car actually pretty decent size. You can keep a lot of stuff other than the papers for your car over here. In terms of organization, however, you don't have a lot of that over here, but in the center console you do have a pretty large storage over here, where essentially you can even keep an iPad, but this is meant for your phone because it had a wireless charging pad. You have two cup holders. Behind that you also have this huge cubby along with two Type-C ports and a 12-volt charging socket. Now this armrest is actually fixed. It does look to, however, open, but it doesn't. And here in the rear seat is where I'm actually disappointed the most, because in terms of storage, this bottle holder or cup holder is the only storage cubby you have. The seats do not have any storage. There is no storage for the armrest over here. This cup holder is all you get. Answering the age-old question of comfort in a Mini is extremely important. I am pretty tall, I'm 6 feet 2 inches, and talking about the comfort experience in this car, well, it's better to actually show you. Now this is the Mini Cooper 3-door with the classic pack, which means a few things. When I sit into the front seats of the car, obviously being the front seats, I have the option to adjust the seats however I want. I can move them back and forth, I can adjust the backrest, I can adjust the height of the seat, everything is adjustable. And that's pretty normal. But then one complaint that I do definitely have for the Mini Cooper is that even in the classic pack, the price that I'm paying for the car definitely demands for automatic seats. That being said, the one variant above this does get electronic seats. I just don't see why Mini took the decision to not give it in the classic pack or the variant below this, considering the price point that it comes at. But then the front seats is not really what you guys came here to watch, and so I'm gonna now attempt to get into the rear seats of the car. Wish me luck. Okay, so coming into the rear seats for the Mini Cooper 3-door, there are a few things that I must say. The seat comfort is definitely same as the front ones. It's the same seats that you have. The seat material is the exact same. So seat cushioning wise, I don't really have an issue. Even the bolstering over here, not a big problem at all. But considering the fact that this is a Mini, the rear seat experience is not exactly the best, because if you see, the under thigh support isn't exactly the best. And when I do move the seat back, I do not essentially have any sort of legroom as well. But the question here is that, is it a seat that I cannot sit in at all? Well, the answer to that will definitely be a big no. I can definitely sit into the rear seats of this car without a problem. For a longer period, definitely not. But if it's a short ride, probably let's say 1 or maximum 2 hours, I don't see the problem over here. I honestly understand that a lot of people do exaggerate, and I do agree with the fact that it's not the most comfortable experience, but then I think 2-hour drive should not be a big deal. Considering the fact that the Mini Cooper 3-door is essentially meant for an adventurous drive, meant to be a weekend car that you take out for a fun experience. So daily driving this car, yes, you can daily drive it, but can you daily drive it with a family? Probably not. The thing is that I still don't see that as an issue, because the target audience for a Mini Cooper 3-door is not a person who's looking for a family car. This cannot be your first car, but it can definitely be that car that you take out for a weekend and have a blast driving. Now, speaking of having a blast driving, let's talk about the driving experience. And oh, I love the way the Mini Cooper drives. We can actually talk about the different driving modes as well. We have Go-Kart, which is the sport mode. We have Core, we have Green, Personal is the normal mode. We have Vivid, we have Timeless, and we have Balance. So these are the different driving modes that this car has. Not all of these modes actually hamper the driving experience. A lot of all of this has to do with just the way the car behaves, or the animation that come up on the display, which is why it is called experience and not essentially just driving modes. So for example, if I go into Timeless, this Timeless experience does not have any hampering on the driving experience of the car, but the way the design looks, it's vintage, it's old school. So that is something really interesting about the Mini. But now coming down to the actual driving experience, first off, let's talk about visibility. The car has a very upfront or upright windscreen, so it doesn't really have so it doesn't really give me any issues in terms of visibility. The A pillars, the B pillars of this car are of very standard size, so looking around them is easy. The ORVMs of this car are decent size. The IRVM is decent size, so looking behind me is not a problem at all. So in terms of visibility, very nice. Safety, it has all of the latest safety features, so you don't need to worry about that. Driving experience, a 2-liter petrol engine, turbocharged, you can never go wrong. So reaching 100 kilometers per hour in this car is essentially not a big deal at all. You reach there very easily. And even at higher speeds, when you have a turn coming up, you feel very confident in the car, because and I say this because of all of the things that this car has going for itself. For example, it has a 17-inch alloy size, which is not exactly very large, and it's not exactly small as well, so it creates the perfect balance. The ground clearance, as I was talking about, is not exactly very high, it's not exactly very low, so you can drive in an Indian city, but you can also corner at a pretty high speed as well. The next thing I would want to talk about is the sitting posture that I have, the way this steering wheel feels, because it's a leather wrapped steering wheel, and it has these two places to hold the steering wheel at the 10 and 2 position. But the steering wheel itself is very girthy, it gives you a lot of grip, so even while you're driving a little sportily, I don't think that when you have sweaty fingers, this car is going to give you a problem at all. Now the driving experience for this car is absolutely wonderful. There is not a single thing in this entire driving experience that I can complain about, except for one, and that is it does not have paddle shifters. With this engine, and the main factor being that this is a car that is meant to be driven, a car that is meant for adventure, I really think that they missed out not giving paddle shifters in the car. When I say that this is a car that you're supposed to have fun in, even Mini means that. For example, there is a button of interior camera. This is how serious Mini is when it comes to having fun in the car. There is a camera right here which can record or capture pictures of you inside the car while you're doing your adventures. So if you see over here, this is us. You can even automate this to smile, so whenever you smile it will automatically take a picture. You can take a timer, you can take burst photos, or you can even take videos. And if you're wondering how the camera is, well, this is the quality of the camera. It even records audio for you, it records your reactions, it records your video, and I honestly love this feature. It shows the amount of commitment that Mini has in terms of having fun with the car, that they've given a camera to record your reactions while you're doing that. And so that was a detailed review of the Mini Cooper S 3-door. Now, before I give you a conclusion on this car, the one thing that I do want to keep in mind, that I want you guys to keep in mind, is that the target audience for this car is not a person who is buying their first car. This is meant to be an adventurous car. It's meant to be that car that you take out probably once a week or twice a week and have a lot of fun with the car. It's not exactly a family car. So considering all of that, this is an absolutely amazing car. The way this car drives, the way it handles, the experience that you get while driving the car, the small gimmicky little features that this car has, which essentially are party tricks. Even Mini knows that the features that they've given in the car is something that not everyone is going to use on a daily basis. Yet they've still given it because that's what the essence of a Mini is. The car looks absolutely beautiful. The interior of the car, even though it's minimalistic, it still gives that luxurious feel. And yes, this car has its flaws. Every car does. No car in this entire world is perfect. Even with the flaws, however, I still feel that the Mini Cooper S is a beautiful car. And so in my opinion, the Mini Cooper 3-door is a very, very good car. I highly recommend that you get this car, considering the fact that a weekend car, a car that you want to drive, a car that you want to have a lot of adventure in, is what you are looking for. But that's all for this video, guys. I really hope you liked this video. Please give us a thumbs up if you did. Comment down below your favorite part about the Mini Cooper 3-door. Share this video as much as you can and give this channel a subscribe, because it gives me so much motivation to create more content for you guys. Thank you so much for watching this video, and I'll see you in the next one.